such as high winds or high snow amount, tornadoes, or a lot of different things you can sign up for. And to sign up for those weather alerts, you can go to the City of Elizabethton website or our county website. And it'll adapt you signing up for those. So that's one of the assets that we have here for the county. So I want all our commissioners to know that didn't know that, and for our guests too. But tonight for our safety egress plan, I want to let everybody know that we do have an AED on the first floor, right beside the elevator. We do have a cardiac incident tonight. We do have that. Our bathroom's handicap accessible right in the hall here on the left side. And if we were to have a fire drill tonight, everyone is to exit towards the monument side and go to the back parking lot. The Elizabethton Fire Department will be responding to the front of the building here, and their trucks and personnel will be at the front of the building, and they will be working out there. They don't want people crossing back and forth in front of their vehicles. So they would like everybody to go to the back parking lot for accountability.
Thank you, Director Barrow. And at this time, please sign in for the official attendance for the meeting, whatever device you're going to use tonight. Yes, Anthony's told everybody this is our last month to be using these. Got to have a different way next month.
Wow.
I apologize.
Yeah, just say, your stuff stored in the cloud.
Has anything changed on?
Box should still work.
Mine are saying they can't connect with their.
Yeah.
Did you expect?
Okay, thank you. Thank you, everybody. I apologize again. So we have 23 of 24 present. Next, we're going to bring up Mr. Anthony Lawrence to discuss with us something about our system, our voting, and so on, our roll call.
My name's Anthony Lawrence. I'm with Doe River Technology Services. I do the IT services for the county. This is the puck that we've been using for the last 4 or 5 years. The software that we bought with Roll Call, this is the last month that we can use it. And the reason why is, well, 2 reasons mainly. The new system, you have to use a smart device. So we have Google Chromebooks for anybody that doesn't have a smart device. You can vote through the Google Chromebook. If not, use your cell phone, iPad, a Windows laptop, anything that you want. And the main reason why we had to do this is because of COVID. So during COVID, when the commissioners had to meet from their homes, there was no way to vote. And so these were sitting, there's no way to push this button sitting at your house and to vote. Unfortunately, Tennessee has a laws, as I found out, that you can't vote from a remote device. but the company obviously does the software for everybody in the United States. So in Tennessee, you have to have your voice spoken in the meeting to vote, but we can actually still use the voting system for Mary to use for record keeping. So you can still vote from your phone if we ever had to go back into a COVID situation. So that's primarily why they went away with these, because they were trying to address the bigger situation. Unfortunately, Tennessee won't allow these to be an official vote. We still have to do the voice. So next month, me and Mary's office will be training on the new software. And I think I have most everybody has the app downloaded on their phones. We can pick a day if you want to come, early before the county commission meeting next month. If there's any commissioner that wants to sit with me one-on-one and go through the software, I think Ginger has my information. Most of you have my cell phone number. Just contact me. I'll sit with you one-on-one and go over the software with you on your phone. It's pretty nice. You'll be able to request to speak through the new device. You won't have to raise your hand. If you want to speak, you just hit a button. Ginger will see automatically on her screen who was the first person that wanted to ask a question or speak. You'll be able to pretty much do everything through the app, and it'll just make it actually even more efficient for her too as well. She'll be able to go through the list and say, okay, this is the next person allowed to speak, so forth and so on. So we have the new commissioners that are here. If I have not gotten with you about your password and your email, just get with me. I think I've addressed everybody that's here. There may be like one person that I missed. If so, just contact Ginger. She'll give you my cell phone number. And again, I'll sit with you and go over your email with you. The Chromebooks that we've got haven't been the best solution that we found. They're 3 or 4 years old. Microsoft no longer allows for Outlook to be downloaded through a Google Chromebook, which kind of caused a problem with some of you. You had to go through the web browser to do it before the last commission. You could just click on Outlook, the app, and get your email. That's no longer available on the Google Chromebooks. So if any of you, again, want a Google Chromebook to do this, like Willie, I can help, anybody that may not have a smartphone. I'll have the laptop sitting here connected with your name on it. And all you'll have to do is click on vote, right on the Google Chromebook. So I think that is about it. Do any of you have any questions about the roll call software? Because we spent a lot of money on it and we're going to continue to use it as best as possible. So.
Madam Chair, I have a comment. Number one, that means now that us as commissioners and elected officials and all are now going to furnish our own tools to work with.
Well, we have the Google Chromebooks if you want to.
I don't want a Chromebook. Why would I want a Chromebook?
Well,
I don't even know how to use it, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you're going to use your cell phone or your own laptop, or if you have an iPhone.
It's a $500 cell phone because your system does not handle.
That's just the way the new system had to be upgraded, and that's
The
just,
system don't manage me. I'm saying.
Oh, yeah. That's the situation that we're in. Yeah.
County Attorney, is there any reason you can't voice vote?
Oh, you certainly would.
That's what I thought. It's a continuation of waste of money in electronics, just like that that's in front of you.
Yeah, I don't know. How would that work if they're using this for the voting?
Either somebody else would have to enter their vote or don't use the system. But
Yeah.
Certainly voice voting is allowed.
That's the legal way is by voice vote, correct?
Sure, yeah, he was talking about
During the COVID.
like when distance meetings were allowed, when the remote meetings were allowed during COVID. Of course, that's no longer the case. So yeah, I mean, here in person, you can voice vote or you can use the roll call system up until the decision has been to use the roll call. Things are changing. It's your all's decision if you want to keep using it or not. That's the procedure that the commission has approved or went with for the last several years. But if that changes now, you can change your approach on that. It would seem to be an all or nothing endeavor.
Well, it seems like it every time we've come up with a system. It's all good and it's totally clean for commissioners. Yes, it will work with the old system. And then you get started and then the old system. Well, now we found out it can't be. So we've went through money on 4 occasions and look where we're at now. Some are gonna be using their own personal instruments. It's electronic. It can be altered because you're using the network.
I mean, nobody's on your phone. I mean, if you're connected to the Wi-Fi network, there's nobody altering your phone,
How do you know that?
because I've been doing this 30 years.
What makes you think that they can't bug or get on the Wi-Fi and intercept your business?
Because we have firewalls installed here at the county.
Yeah, we've also had firewalls also, and we've had pay from this county, so.
Yeah, that's what you pay me for, to keep this network secure. That's what I do. And I can look at you and say that there's nobody sitting out in the parking lot, you know, doing something like that. We have firewalls installed. The voting system that is on your phone is a local network. That's a private network here inside the county. And that's how it votes. And you have to have a username and password to connect to the voting system from your smart device. And that prevents somebody else being able to vote from your device. So. And again, if you don't want to use your own personal device, the county's supplying Google Chromebooks that you can vote on the Google Chromebooks from that device.
And then if that fails, what do you do?
I have more than one Google Chromebook. Some commissioners are not going to use them. They're going to use their own personal devices. And I think we've addressed the situation with the email, right? Every email that is sent within the county is archived on a message archiver. So if the lawyers ask for emails, we had a situation before where they wanted to get on your personal devices because you were using those for your email. That's no longer the case now because we archive every email into an appliance. And if the lawyers are asking for any emails regarding county commissioners or county employees, they go to the device to access the emails. They don't have to go into your personal devices. So we've tried to address every situation that we could. And like I said, if you don't have a smart device or don't want to use your own smart device, we'll supply a smart device for you. It's what we bought them for.
Are there any other questions for Anthony?
You're still gonna run the paper trail.
They take the voting system, goes to a file, it writes it as a file. She audio records it and then uses the audio recording and the notes that they take with everything you see on the vote, it sends it to a file that she goes over with the audio recording and then produces the minutes for the.
Just like it is.
Yeah.
Here's what I found.
Oh, sorry.
You're talking, they're still doing the hard copy on the packet.
Yeah, the written minutes each month are still reflecting the vote. Of course, if there was some vote that was recorded wrong, you could get it changed in the minutes.
But I mean, all of your packet. I'm not just.
Oh, no, I don't think they're changing the.
We'll get to that later in the meeting if that's okay. We're going to address that.
You're the chair.
It's going to be my recommendation that this topic goes to rules and bylaws in their regular October meeting. And if there's any changes this commission wants to make, please see a rules and bylaws member after we know who those are tonight. And let that committee hash this out. All of our work needs to be done in committees. And it'll get brought down to the floor. Okay, that's going to be my recommendation. So we'll end this conversation now. Mr. Anthony, we appreciate you being here and all that you've done with our new commissioners. I think Ms. Kelly might still be having a problem, and so am I. Mine is just still sitting here trying to connect. Is that something you can work on for us?
Did the server change, Anthony?
Pardon?
Did the server for roll call change?
We're not officially using it yet. That's next month.
Gotcha.
Yep.
I just think you got 24 of them, just like.
Okay, let's approve the agenda. Two amendments myself, and I'll take others after that. Let's install a 5B, and that's going to be an announcement on broadband. by Dr. Acuff. 5B, announcement on broadband. 17B is Sheriff Fraley. 17B, please add Sheriff Fraley.
Motion to approve as amended.
We have a motion to approve by Aaron Frazier. Is there a second? Second by Kelly Collins. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes to approve the agenda. So you need us to vote? So you'll have a record.
Gotta change it.
Okay, so it was vote. Dr. Acuff, will you go ahead and address?
Sure.
Please.
Some of you may already have heard that the state of Tennessee through ECD has finally released the names of those successful grant getters for broadband throughout the state of Tennessee. And you know, we had a resolution to partner with Skyline Skybest out of Boone, North Carolina. They were notified last week that they were successful in obtaining a grant to work with Carter County. They've already accepted the money. And so you'll be seeing more and more of their trucks within the county. They've already finished the engineering. They'll be out staking to string and bury fiber. So it's a real opportunity for Carter County. As you know, we set aside $3.2 million as a match. Because there was some objection by several other broadband suppliers in our county, through this grant, they can do that. So we were, Skyline Skybest only got $3.9 million for Carter County. We'll match that with 1.675. I would recommend the difference is 1.524 million to go ahead and retain and use that money for other parts of our county. As you know, we've worked very hard with the region here to actually have an education hub, which will be the workforce development. A lot of things up and down Stony Creek, and it was easy for them to come right out of Shady Valley. We already have a very strong presence. You come right down Stony Creek, passing 3 schools, TCAT, workforce development, our EMS providers, et cetera. So when we actually do take a vote on this, that's what I would recommend that you do. Don't put that 1.6 million back in the pot, but use it effectively to complete our broadband fiber-based service throughout this county. So it's a great day and a win-win all the way around to finally be able to string fiber or bury fiber in Carter County. It's going to be very affordable. I won't go into all that. I've asked Edward Henson, who is my main contact at Skyline Skybest, and Robbie Farmer, who is their chief operating engineer, to come probably in October or November at the latest and give us an update of where they are. Again, good news for Carter County. So thanks. Oh, and if you want to see where the first indication of how it's going to look throughout the county, I've got the map. They're redoing another one, but it's the purple sites first. So it'll be Roan Mountain or Little Milligan, and then up around Montague Lake. So you're welcome to look at this during the break if you want, or ask any questions. I'm happy to answer with what I know. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Acuff, for all your hard work on that project. At this time, let's stand. We will have our prayer this evening from Commissioner Willie Campbell, followed by the pledge led by Julie Gwynn.
Gracious Heavenly Father God, Lord, as we bow our heads today, Lord, thank you for a beautiful day, Lord, that you've restored upon each one of us, God. You've blessed us this morning to put our feet to the floor and take another breath. Lord, we do thank you, Lord, for each and everything that you do for us, Lord, every prayer that you answer, and every miracle that you work in our life, God. But Father God, most of all, we thank you for your Son, Jesus Christ, who died on the cross that we could have life and have it more abundantly. Lord, tonight I do pray for each and every one of our commissioners, Lord. Lord, tonight I do pray, Lord, for our country and our nation, Lord. God, we pray, Lord, that they can get God back into our hearts, Lord. See what's happening in this world today. Lord, we do pray, Lord, for each and every office holder, Lord, that you have your anointing upon them. God, we do ask for your wisdom, your knowledge to lead us and guide us in the ways you'd have us to go. Lord, we pray, Lord, that we can always be in your will, Lord, and do what you have us to do. God, we ask these things in thy name. Amen.
Salute. Pledge. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Man, that sounded good. Will our elected officials and appointed officials please stand and be recognized this evening and accept a round of applause as our gratitude for all. At this time, I'll accept nominations for the chairperson of this commission for the next year. This is a one-year term. It's up for change every September. I'll recognize Brad Johnson.
Madam Chair, I would like to place our present chair in nomination for our chair coming up for this next year.
Okay, thank you, sir. Is there any other nomination? Floor's open. Yes, sir.
Madam Chair, I'd like to nominate Dr. Bob A. Cuff to chair.
Thank you, Mr. Hill. Bob Acuff is nominated. Anybody else?
Motion nomination cease.
Second.
Okay. Motion for nominations to cease. So you will be voting presently on whether to cease nominations.
Madam Chair, thank you very much for the nomination. I will need to withdraw my name. Things have changed at my work, which is going to cause me to be a little bit more focused at the College of Medicine. And I think as well, talking to some of my constituents in the first district, they would like for me to remain on the floor. They think I can do more from this position than from that position. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Acuff. Yes, Aaron Frazier.
Make a friendly amendment to Willie's that we elect by acclamation.
Second.
I'm allowed to do that.
If Willie accepts it,
I didn't hear what he said.
He is asking for a friendly amendment to change your motion to elect by acclamation. Okay. And the second was by Jerry Prophet. Is that right? Okay, so do you accept the friendly amendment also? All right, so let's take a vote on the screen with your electronic device. Okay. Yes. For Holdren as chair.
We're elected by acclamation.
Okay, please vote. Okay, please reveal the vote. All right, thank you very much. I appreciate the trust you have placed in my leadership of our board meetings. I'm honored and grateful to be in this role, and I'll strive to serve the entire county, including officials, employees, pensioners, and citizens, most importantly, that we all represent them. So thank you very much. The floor is open for nominations for vice chairperson. Nancy Brown.
I nominate Aaron Frazier.
A second.
We have a nomination and a second for Aaron Frazier. Dr. Bob Acuff.
I nominate Kelly Collins.
Okay, we also have a nomination for Kelly Collins. Any others?
Make a motion, please.
Okay, motion has been made to cease nominations. Before we get a second on that, if everybody's fine with that, can we just accept those two nominations?
Yeah, if there's no more nominations, you don't have to officially cease nominations. And once everybody's had a chance to speak.
Okay. Willie, is it okay if we just accept that nobody else made a nomination and just leave the floor open?
In order some way.
Okay, so, all right, so we have two nominees, Kelly Collins and Aaron Frazier. Would either one of you like to address the board?
Actually, I think at this time, Chairperson Holden, I'd like to just withdraw my name. I got a lot on my plate right now, and I don't think I could fulfill the role. I appreciate it. Thanks.
All right, thank you. All right, so I could accept a motion right here to elect Kelly Collins as vice chairperson by acclamation.
So moved.
Second.
And Aaron Frazier's the second. So Dr. Bob on the motion and Aaron Frazier on the second. This vote is to elect Kelly Collins vice chairperson. Any questions? Dr. Bob Acuff. Okay, please vote. Reveal the vote. All in favor. Congratulations, Kelly Collins. Well deserved. Public comment?
Just try not to be absent.
Try not to be absent, she said. At this time, the floor is open for public comments. If you are a member of the public who would like to be recognized, please just raise your hand. All right, please come forward. And most of us know you, but will you please, for the record, state your name and your applicant?
Mary Harvey, Victor Drive, in Johnson City, Carter County. So I'm here again tonight to say that the minutes for July and August have not been posted to Facebook or to the webpage, the county webpage. And the agenda for tonight has not been posted to the webpage. So the citizens cannot come prepared. Congratulations. Congratulations. That's all.
Thank you very much. Is there any other person that would like to be recognized to speak this evening that's not on the agenda?
Ginger, I will.
Okay.
Mike Simmerly, City Council. Most of you, probably most of you, I know you in the room here, some are neighbors, friends, or with you on different boards. Most of all, I just want to welcome you. Congratulations on your win. For those of you who are newly elected, it's a difficult thing to get elected to office. I'm very proud of each and every one of you who run for office. Representing the city tonight, we do have board commissioners here tonight, or councilmen here tonight with you, with myself. But we would like to get to welcome you, but we also would like to welcome you to possibly a meeting, maybe after the holidays, a joint meeting. We had a meeting, I guess it's been a couple of years ago. We had an initial meeting then, but we'd like to have a meeting just to kind of get to know you a little bit better, for you to know us, maybe to have some questions. I know we all have questions, what's happening on that side of the river, or what's happening on this side of the river. Most importantly is to work more together. We won't entertain any questions if anyone has any questions. I'm just very happy to see all the new faces and looking forward to working with each of you.
Thank you, Councilman Simmerly. For another. Okay, We'll move on to agenda item number 11. This is the acceptance of the meeting minutes from August.
Make the motion. Second.
Okay, so we have a motion made by Gary Crawford with a second by Aaron Frazier. We are now in discussion of the minutes. If you have read them and see any omissions or errors, please state them now. Yes.
Yes, ma'am, I have two. One of them in item 13, that the new commissioners will be sworn in August 1st. It was actually August 31st. That's on page 134. And on page 136, on the second vote, it's motioned by July Gwen. Gwen. Just a clerical, I didn't know if you.
Yes, we do correct those at this time too. You can find both of those, Ms. Wayne. Okay. Page 136, second paragraph, Julie's name is spelled July. Once she gets these recorded, continue looking to see if there are other. Yes. Okay. I've got a couple, Ms. Gwen, on page 132, in the bottom section where the commissioners' names are listed, Gary Bailey. On page 133. Item 12, under the communications project. The second time 48,000 is listed, there's a zero missing. Did anybody else find an error? We already have our motion and second. So at this time, we'll be voting on whether to approve the minutes as amended. Voting to approve August minutes. Will the vote? All right, the motion to approve the minutes passes with one abstention. Absent, like passes. All right, at this time, the clerk's office will read those that are seeking notary and bonds.
Okay, for the notaries, it's Angela Marie Eisner, Alisa K. McComb, Emily Kaiser Blair, Jessica Berry, Joshua Wade, Leah K. McDaniel, Louise P. Edwards, Shay M. Stewart. And for the constable's bonds, it's Jason Jones, Robert Carroll, William D. Braswell, Harvey Schaefer, Gary W. Perry, Larry Michael Presnell Jr., Scott Carson Whaley, Mark I. Carrier, Kenneth Potter, Christopher Grindstaff, John Henson, Pat Odom, Bobby Dean Trivett, Jerry Miller Jr., and Dustin Baker.
Motion to accept. Second. Motion is made by Commissioner Brown, second by Commissioner Wynn. Is there any discussion on these names? Okay, please vote for approval of these names being approved for notaries or bonds. Neil? Motion passes. Now we are going to talk about consideration for possibly changing the way we insure our bonds on county officials. And I'm assuming County Harden's going to take it over.
Yeah. Okay, so some of y'all may not know, but prior to 2016, when the law changed, each individual elected county official, they had to get their own bond to ensure their duties in their office. Around about 2016, I think the county approved it in 2017. The law changed to allow simply getting or adding a blanket coverage to our insurance policy in the amount of $400,000 for every office holder. So our current policy is in effect, has been in effect since then. It was just renewed July 1. And it insures each of the elected offices, not the individual person, the office. So if the office holder changes, they're still insured. So all of those bonds are effective or have been effective since all the new office holders took office or started their new term. The $400,000 blanket policy amount is the minimum required by state law. And frankly, it is the only amount that our insurance carrier will sell us. So we really don't have the option with our current insurance carrier to increase that amount. However, prior to this law change, the way to figure how much bond coverage you needed for the county trustee was a formula based on how much money that passed through that office. So if you still did that today, our county trustee should have a bond of $1 million. As we sit here tonight, the county trustee is included with every other office holder in this county for $400,000 total coverage. That is compliant with state law. We don't have to make any changes, but the recommendation at the state level or from CTAS is that the county trustee have his own individual bond in the amount of $1 million based on our formula. And every other office holder remain under that $400,000 blanket insurance coverage, but we get a separate bond for the trustee. That is the recommendation. It is your all's decision. You all as the county commission vote on that. I would say that to leave the current policy in place for all the other officials, I think we need to vote on that again because this is a new commission. Since that's happened, we've got new office holders. So I would like us to vote on maintaining the blanket $400,000 coverage for all officials. And then separately, if somebody wants to make that motion, or if you all decide it's the right thing to do, we need to decide if the trustee needs to break off of that coverage and get his own bond. The reason it's coming for you tonight, hasn't been through any committee, is because the deadline to do this is 2 days from now. So if it's not decided tonight, it's been decided by default because it's too late. So that's the spiel. It's up to you or them if they want to make it.
The floor is open for a motion.
Madam Chair, question, the difference in the premium between what the new law is and what we've been paying, is it an increase? If it is, where we want to?
Yeah, it certainly is. What we have now is just the same insurance coverage we've had for the last 5 years. So there's no change in that. But there's certainly, we would have to buy an individual bond with it. The county has to buy it for the office holders. I don't know. I think we had some sort of vague idea, $10,000 or $12,000 for $1 million bond. Like I said, based on the amount of money that goes through that office, it's an insurance policy. I mean, it's, that's what it is. So there certainly would be costs. I'm assuming you would have to get it from fund balance unless there was somewhere else. It was not budgeted in that office. So that would be the decision for y'all to make. But like I said, no matter what you do, I think we need to confirm that we're keeping this insurance coverage for all office holders. And if you want to exclude the trustee from that, that's your decision. But I think based on the time that's passed and the new commission coming in, we need to re-vote on that. So I certainly wouldn't recommend changing that. The law was changed for that reason, for cost savings for the county, because it's way cheaper than buying individual bonds for every office. So certainly I wouldn't recommend doing anything different for everybody else. But the trustee, it's got nothing to do with who the trustee is or any worries about what might happen in that office. It's just reality of the world we're in and how much money is going through that office. So that's your all's decision.
Yes.
Josh, in your legal opinion, is it needed?
I think it's a good idea.
Would that be $10,000 to $12,000 per elected official?
Just for the trustee.
Just for the trustee. Yeah. So if we left it as,
We did it for everyone to $1 million.
oh yeah, you'd have to buy individual bonds for everyone because,
That's what I'm asking, would that be $10,000 to $12,000 per?
Depend on the amount of money, and I didn't calculate that part because we were only looking at this one. Based on what Josh has said and what I've been told, the 400,000 should be sufficient for all the others. It's just because of the amount of money that comes through the trustee. And that amount is an estimate based on another county. It would depend on who we had do it and what their rates are at the time. So, I mean, that $10,000 is an estimate. I think I looked at 2 different counties and it was between 10 and 13, but ours could be different. There's no way to really, without getting the information, there's no way to really know exactly what that amount would be.
the insurance carrier can go out on the bond market and price it. I think, Mary can correct me if I'm wrong, but before this law changed, I think most every county official went through, was it Elizabethton Insurance Agency for the bonds? Certainly we could do that again, because they're just right downtown.
Any other questions? Yes, Commissioner McQueen.
Just a couple. So in the past recent memory that you served, how many instances have you seen the county filing a claim on offices within the county? And when it says each and every loss under the terms, exclusions, is there a set limit that it applies to? Or if we have 1, 2 occurrences, would that drop us from that policy?
Yeah, my understanding is $400,000 is the limit for each individual instance where there would be some sort of claim. So, I mean, if there was a single instance or I guess a grouping together of what they would group together and say that's one event, if it exceeded $400,000, there's no coverage, but it's $400,000 each separate time. And your first question, to my knowledge, there has not been a claim against anybody suing against the bond to collect anything since I've been here, or in the last 10 years. 0.
Yes, Commissioner Frazier.
I'll make a motion that we set aside the $400,000 bond for all the non-trustee offices and then a $1 million bond for the trustee's office.
But just to clarify that, so you want to leave in place the $400,000 blanket insurance coverage for everybody but the trustee?
Correct.
And the trustee purchased $1 million bond, or county purchased $1 million bond for the trustee? Okay.
Is there a second for that motion? All right, Jerry Prophet on the second. Any discussion?
Should it not be noted where the funds are going to come from for budget purposes? Whether
We don't have the final number, so that's why I didn't include it. I don't think there's only one place it can come from, which would be an assigned fund balance.
Would probably be wise to add a phrase up to 15,000 or something like that. If it goes over that, will we have time to bring it back and vote on it?
No, I mean, I guess if you all authorize up to $15,000, whatever amount of coverage that will buy, anything's better than the 400 is now. So even if it's 800, it's better than what it is now.
Up to $15,000. Jerry, do you accept the friendly amendment?
I do.
Any other discussion? The amendment was to say up to $15,000.
From the unassigned fund balance.
Already. Okay.
Can we clarify that to say up to $15,000 or $1 million in coverage, whatever $15,000 will buy? Is that?
Yes.
Okay. Good with that.
Jerry Prophet, are you okay with another
Sure.
friendly amendment? attorney. So one phrase added when, and then Aaron, if you will, please, will you restate the entire new motion?
Make a motion that we set a $400,000 bond for all office holders that are not the trustee's office, and a $1 million bond for the trustee's office with a cost of the bond not to exceed $15,000 or $1 million in coverage, with the funds coming from the unassigned fund balance.
That's a complete motion. Thank you, Aaron. All right. If there's no other discussion, let's vote on that motion. And motion passes unanimously. Increase the policy on the trustee. Thank you, everybody. If your district kind of already knows what committees the three of you are going to serve on, these standing committees, I feel like maybe it hasn't been clear to some of you, so let me just try to explain. We have what we call 3 standing committees. If you're on one of these, you cannot be on the other 2. So if you want to be on law enforcement, let's say, really badly, then if you're on law enforcement, you are also on rules and bylaws, health and welfare, building and grounds. You have to serve on all 4 of those. If you're on nominating, you also have to serve on budget and nothing else. And then the third group is education, landfill, and highway. Serve on one of those means to serve on all 3, education, landfill, and highway. Those are the only committees we are voting on in the next few minutes, okay? That's the only thing. So may I ask that if your district is in agreement that each one of you is going to a different place, I would like for one person from that district to please stand. Okay, so only 2 districts are in agreement. Is Layla, our district, not one of them?
Yes, we are.
Thank you, Ms. Lisa and Layla. Any other district in agreement? All right, I'm gonna start up here at the front with District 2. Will you, Miss Nancy, please state for the clerk's office where each of you is going?
Avery School, the community grounds, health and welfare, law enforcement, rules and laws. And I will say, I'll not get protection.
Green sheets.
Okay. Commissioner Johnson, you were standing, please tell us where the 3rd district is going.
Chair, the budget committee will be myself. Building grounds, health and welfare, law enforcement, rules and bylaws is Commissioner Odom. Education, highway, and landfill is Commissioner Burris.
Thank you. 3rd district, 5th district, will one of you please stand and tell us the decision there? Lisa or Layla, one of you please stand.
I will be on budget. Ms. Lisa will be on rules and bylaws, health and welfare, and so forth. And then you'll be on the highway, education, and landfill.
Thank you very much. All right. So after that short amount of time, is there another district that is now ready? All right, let's hear from 7th district.
Myself will be staying on budget and nominating. Mr. Rasnick is going to be going to education, highway, and landfill. And Mr. McInturf will be staying on building and grounds at home.
Thank you. Okay. Kelly.
Queenville budget.
Probably on buildings. I don't think she's ready yet. Hang on. I'm sorry.
Senior janitor.
Getting your custodian. We need to agree to ask the whole community.
Hang on just a second. Commissioner Collins has the floor.
Mr. McQueen's gonna be on budget. Mr. McQueen,
Mr. Prophet's gonna be on buildings ground.
buildings and ground,
I can only speak back to what I know. I know.
And I'll be on, Nashville Highway and Education.
Say one way or another.
Thank you. You're ready? Yes, sir.
Before I have two commissioners who are wanting the same committee, how would we decide this? As only one can go on the budget committee.
If you are not in agreement within your district, I believe we have to go to a full commission vote. Full commission vote.
Okay.
Okay. So we have District 1 that's gonna need a full commission vote. District 6 is gonna need a full commission vote. So 1, 4, and 6. Okay, so I'll start with District 1. If you all will please tell us the two commissioners that want to go on the same committee and who they are and what committee it is.
Nick Holder is going to go on health and welfare. He was the #1 vote getter in our district. And there's a dispute who is going to go on budget. I have requested formally for the clerk's office to go on.
Also budget nominated.
Okay. So at this time, your district's gonna go first. So if Willie or Dr. Acuff wants to address the full Board of Commissioners before we vote on why you should be selected for Budget Committee, please do so now.
I've sat on the budget committee for going on 4 years now. We've not had a tax raise, we've not had any increase. I think we've worked together real good. I think that we can keep on working together. I think that we can keep taxes lower in this county. I don't think we can afford to have taxes raised. It's left up to everybody else. To me, I think I've done a great job, and everybody else that's said I've done a great job, and I think we're to stick with it. Don't break something that's already working.
This would not have been my first time to serve on the Budget Committee, if so chosen. Was vice chair of the Budget Committee 2 commissions ago. And quite frankly, my constituents tell me that county employees should not be sitting on the Budget Committee.
What's that got to do with it?
I'm just telling you what my constituents say, Mr. Campbell. So that, I think it would be a safe bet to put a non-employee on the Budget Committee. I think I'll do a good job, as I've proven I have done with health and welfare, with broadband, with other things that I've brought to the county and through this commission. So I would like for you to consider voting for me for budget. Thank you.
Holder is going to go to rules and bylaws, et cetera. And then we'll vote for budget, and then the third person can take education. Okay. Any questions from anybody for either man? All right, so at this time, we will vote. We'll have to do a voice vote because it includes names. So your name will be called, and I'm not sure what order the names are going to be called in. We're not necessarily going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 like we have before. When your name is called, please vote either Campbell or Acuff. You may not understand. Okay. When you're ready, ladies. Whoever's first.
Willie Campbell,
Here.
And a little bit louder.
Nick Holder,
Take up. Take up.
Acuff,
Enough.
Nancy Brown,
Campbell.
Avery Nguyen,
Take up.
Julie Gwynn,
Campbell.
Bradley Johnson,
Pass.
pass.
Yes. For Rico.
Steve Burrow.
Pass.
Pass. You pass. I'm sorry.
Pass for Rico.
Angie Odom,
Acuff.
Danny Deal,
Take up.
Gary Kemp,
Cuff.
Jerry Prophet,
Campbell.
Lisa Childers,
Acuff.
Ginger Holdren,
Pass.
Layla Ward,
Campbell.
Donnie Cable,
Acuff.
Eddie Duffield,
Acuff.
Todd Smith,
Acuff.
Jason Raznick,
Campbell.
Daniel McIntyre,
Campbell.
Aaron Frazier,
Campbell.
Cody McQueen,
Campbell.
Kelly Collins,
Acuff.
Thomas Prophet.
Acuff.
Does anybody want to change their vote to pass?
Brad Johnson, do you want to change your vote?
It is not passed for Rico.
Oh, no, that's what she's asking is, do those persons who passed want to vote now?
Acuff.
Steve Burrow,
Acuff.
9. Campbell got 9, they got 12.
I'm
They're
sorry,
still
we're still voting.
Yeah, we go back on the last.
There were 3 that passed,
Okay.
right? So I went back to Brad Johnson and he voted Acuff. Then I went back to Steve Burrow and he voted Acuff. And I believe we have a clear winner. And I'm gonna vote Acuff. When you're ready, we'll take the official numbers from you ladies.
15 to 9. 15 break up, 9 for.
Okay, so I'll repeat what she's saying. There were 15 votes for Dr. Acuff for Budget Committee. There were 9 votes for Willie Campbell for Budget Committee. So in the first district, Nick Holder will be on Rules and Bylaws, et cetera. Dr. Acuff will be on Budget and Nominating, and Willie Campbell will be on Education, Highway, and Landfill. Okay, we will now move to District 4. Jerry, speak for the group and tell us what we are going to be voting on, sir.
First off, we have a Mr. Deal and who? His name's Kim. Anyway, they're both wanting to be placed on the budget committee, and I guess we have a vote to decide.
Okay, and do you know what committee you're gonna go?
I'm sorry, I'm getting there. Yes, ma'am. I want rules and bylaws. We have no one for education committee. Would you like that too?
Okay,
I'm sorry. I thought
okay, so I think I understand that,
the outcome of the vote would probably determine who goes on the education committee. I understand.
all right. Yes, so would Commissioner Deal, Commissioner Kemp like to address the commission?
Are they agreeing to Jerry's?
Excuse me?
Are two of you in agreement on your committee or?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll go by seating order, so Commissioner Deal, if you'd like to address the commission, please do so now.
I've served on a few boards. I think my background in manufacturing Snap-on, I've been on I've had to run some budgets for departments. So I think, I have a strength in the committee. So I think I would qualify.
Same as Danny, I've served on 2 or 3 different budget committees, church budget, camp over in Unicoi, their budget committee. Whichever way you go, we'll all work together, so appreciate your vote.
Any questions for either gentleman? Okay, when you're ready, Mary.
Danny Deal. Gary Kemp.
Kemp.
Jerry Prophet.
Yes.
Johnny Cable.
Deal.
Johnny Cable.
Deal.
Patty Duffield.
Kemp.
Todd Smith.
Deal.
Cody McLean.
Deal.
Kelly Collins.
Deal.
Cody, you said Deal.
Yes, ma'am.
Thomas Prophet.
Yep, sorry.
Nancy Brown.
Deal.
I'm sorry, Nancy.
Deal.
Excuse me for just a second. Please address her and look toward her when you speak, if y'all don't mind, please. Thank you.
Avery Wynn.
Yep.
Julie Gwynn.
Kemp.
Bradley Johnson.
Deal.
Steve Burrow.
Deal.
Angie Odom.
Deal.
Lisa Childers.
Deal.
Ginger Holdren.
Kemp.
Layla Ward.
Deal.
Jason Raznick.
Deal.
Daniel McIntyre.
Kemp.
Aaron Frazier.
Kemp.
Willie Campbell.
Kemp.
Lee Holder.
Kemp.
Robert A. Cup.
Deal. Back to Jerry.
Yes. We are back to Jerry Prophet. Yeah, if anybody wants to change their vote at this time, you may, but we're waiting on Jerry Prophet first, and then you're still gonna pass. Okay, does anybody want to change their vote? So let's wait on the clerk's office to tell us the official count.
Kelly, did you?
And I have something different.
for Deal. Okay, you ain't right. 13 to 10, 13 for Deal and 10 for Kemp.
Is that what?
That's not what I got.
That's not what I got, 12 to 11.
I got 12, 11.
I've got 12, 11.
Not even close.
So, let's just vote again because
Okay.
we would have to do that in either case. Other people don't agree with the 13, and if the 13 is not right, then there's not a 13, so there's not a clear winner. Y'all understand what I'm saying? So we're gonna vote again between the two men, and we need 13 to win the position. Any questions? Okay.
Danny Deal,
Deal.
Gary Kemp.
Kemp.
Jerry Prophet,
Tyson.
Donnie Cable,
Deal.
Patty Duffield,
Kemp. Kemp.
Todd Smith,
Deal.
Cody McQueen,
Deal.
Kelly Collins,
Deal.
Thomas Prophet,
Kemp.
Nancy Brown,
Kemp.
Avery Nguyen,
Kemp.
Julie Gwynn,
Kemp.
Bradley Johnson,
Deal.
Steve Burrow,
Deal.
Angie Odom,
Deal.
Lisa Childers, Deal, Ginger Holdren,
Kemp.
Layla Ward, Deal, Jason Rasnick,
Deal.
Daniel McIntyre,
Kemp.
Aaron Frazier,
Kemp.
Willie Campbell,
Kemp.
Nick Holder,
Kemp.
Robert A. Cook.
Deal.
I would like to change my vote. I'll change my vote to Deal. Anybody else want to change their vote? Jerry Prophet, do you want to
I
vote?
still like to pass.
Okay, thank you.
Sissy. Lord, you were living all your life. What's favorite amongst three of them?
And that's what you have. Let me see if that's what Aaron has or other people. Aaron? Oh,
What'd you say?
saying 13 to 10 in favor of Deal? Oh, that is what I have. I'm sorry. That is what I have. Okay. So 13 to 10, the winner is Danny Deal. Okay. So, Wayne, have you got that district written down now? Education Highway Landfill, yes. Okay, so we're moving to District 6.
We've come to a consensus.
You have, okay,
Lonnie Cable for the Budget Committee. Betty Duffield for the Highway Education Landfill. And Todd Smith for Law Enforcement.
here, okay, will you please repeat?
Lonnie Cable for the Budget Committee. Betty Duffield for the Highway Committee and Education Landfill. And Todd Smith for Law Enforcement, Health and Welfare Committee.
That takes care of all 8 districts, correct? Right, okay, so at this time, the floor is open for a motion to confirm those placements as directed to the clerk's office.
Motion to approve.
Okay, second by Dr. Acuff, motion by Frazier, second by Acuff.
We in discussion here for a second. I didn't get to hear a couple of the committees up there in the front. Which committees?
District 1 and 2,
I heard one because we voted on it, but two, I didn't hear who was who.
Ms. Nancy, will you please restate 2, District 2?
District 2. All right, I'm going on, education, highway and landfill. Julie's going on budget, and Avery is going on building and grounds, health and welfare, law enforcement, rules and bylaws.
Is there another one you missed, Ms. Kelly?
I'm just District 3.
All right, District 3, will you repeat?
Sure. Budget nomination would be myself. Building and grounds, health, welfare, law enforcement, rules and bylaw is Commissioner Odom. Education, highway and landfill would be Commissioner Burrows.
You're still in discussion if anybody needs, you need 5. Layla?
Myself for budget board, Lisa's going on health and welfare, building and grounds and rules and bylaws, and then Ms. Ginger, education, highway and landfill.
So you got them all now? Everybody heard them all and you're content? All right, when the clerk's office is ready, we will vote in the affirmative if you agree with all 8 districts' placements. You ready for the vote?
Yes, please.
Please reveal. All right, the motion passes. We are in a 10-minute recess.
Let's go play ball.
Financial management.
Stole the men's dispensary out the men's bathroom. Men's dispensary.
I have Tractor Supply candy. Tractor Supply candy.
He's gonna change it his opinion.
Back to order, please. Next mean earlier dismissal. I think we can begin the next step without our attorney in the finance department. It's time to elect financial management committee members. This committee is made up of 7 people. 3 are officials. It's the director of schools, it's the mayor, and the highway department superintendent, plus 4. And those 4 can be commissioners or others. So the floor is open for nominations for those that want to be on financial management committee. Let me say this, unless the committee votes to change it by majority, those meetings will continue to be held the first Monday of the month at 8:30 a.m. They typically last a minimum of 2 hours. Sometimes they've lasted 3.5. So keep that in mind. If you looked over your packets well, you should know the persons that sought election to this committee. So, Attorney Harden, do you want to add anything to what I've said?
I didn't hear most of it, but if you're voting on financial management committee, I guess your total 4 spots are open. It can be anybody, it doesn't have to be commissioners. That's it.
Okay, so the floor is open for nominations. Yes, Commissioner Collins.
Dr. Bob Acuff.
Acuff is the nomination. Layla
Ginger Holdren.
Holdren is a nomination. Cable
Danny Deal.
Deal is a nomination. Thomas Prophet.
Ray Johnson.
Ray Johnson was the 4th one. So you got a total of 4 right now. Are there any other nominations? Danny Deal.
Donnie Cable.
Cable is nominated. Who did he say? Donnie Cable. If there are no other nominations, the way we handle this is I'll give you the 5 names that have been nominated. When your name is called, you vote for 4. So please be prepared to say 4 last names. Go by last name. And if things don't work out so that 4 people get 13 votes, then Attorney Harden will advise us on how to handle it next, okay? So you're voting on Acuff, Holdren, Deal, Johnson, Cable.
Repeat, please.
Acuff, Holdren, Deal, Johnson, Cable. clerk's office when you're ready.
On cable,
So Donnie Cable, state up to 4 names.
Acuff, Holden, Deal, Johnson.
Johnson,
Yes, he said Johnson.
Patty Duffield,
Acuff, Holdren, Cable, Deal.
At any point, if you all need us to repeat the whole.
Cable's 4.
Donnie, will you please
Johnson.
restate your vote?
Johnson, Acuff, Holden, and Deal.
Do you need Miss Patty to restate hers? You got it? Okay.
Todd Smith,
Deal, Cable, Holden, Johnson.
Cody McQueen,
Acuff, Holdren, Cable, Johnson.
Kelly Collins,
Acuff, Holdren, Deal.
She's stopping at 3.
Thomas Prophet,
Acuff, Holdren, Deal, and Johnson.
Nancy Brown,
Watson, Holden, Cable, and Acuff.
And who? Yeah.
Avery Nguyen,
Deal, Holdren, Johnson, Cable. Deal, Holdren, Johnson, Cable.
Acuff, Holdren, Johnson, and Cable.
Acuff, Holdren,
Johnson and Cable.
Danny Deal,
Holdren, Deal, Johnson, Cable.
Who's last one?
Cable.
Gary Kemp,
Acuff, Holdren, Deal, and Johnson.
Jerry Prophet,
Johnson, Acuff, Holdren, Deal.
Deal,
Deal.
Lisa Childers,
Acuff, Holdren, Deal, Johnson.
Ginger Holdren,
Acuff, Holdren, Johnson, Cable.
Layla Ward,
Acuff, Holdren, Deal, Johnson.
Jason Rasnick,
Cable, Deal, Holdren, Johnson.
Chrissy Cable,
Cable, yes, ma'am.
Daniel McIntyre,
Johnson,
Cable, Acuff, Holden.
Aaron Frazier,
Holdren, Acuff, Cable, Johnson.
Willie Campbell,
Bill Johnson, Cable.
Decoder,
Acuff, Holdren, Deal, Johnson.
Robert Acuff,
Deal, Holdren, Johnson, and Acuff.
Aaron Johnson,
Acuff, Holdren, Deal, and Johnson.
Steve Burrow,
Acuff, Holdren, Deal, Johnson.
Please repeat, Steve.
Deal and Johnson.
Acuff, Holdren, Deal, and Johnson.
Angie Odom,
Holdren, Deal, Johnson, and Cable.
Yes, sir.
I might have misunderstood. Did the four names include my name that I was nominated? Or was it
There
four
were
others?
5 names that we could vote
Yes.
for. Everybody voted for 4, so we're waiting on their official count. If everybody gets 13 or more votes, then it's gonna be the top 4 vote getters.
Can we ask?
Okay, I might have misunderstood. When I gave you 4 names, I didn't include myself.
That's correct, you did not.
yes. Amy, would you repeat your vote, please?
Holdren, Deal, Johnson, Cable.
Mr. Cable needs to revote.
Yeah, I need to revote because I didn't include myself in the vote.
Okay,
Acuff, 18.
No,
okay, hold on just a second, don't say anymore, okay? Because Mr. Cable misunderstood and he wants to change his vote.
To,
So you,
Okay, I'll give you the four, including,
you said Johnson, Deal, Acuff, and Holdren.
yeah, but I didn't vote for myself and I should have.
Question.
yeah, I think we all did, Donnie. Okay, go ahead and say the four you would really like to vote.
Okay, Cable, Acuff, Holdren, and Deal.
So that's 18. Brian's got 21. Stay the same, that stay the same, that stay the same. Okay. For Acuff.
All right, now she's gonna read the official count.
Acuff.
Here.
Here.
Can you be louder?
Okay.
Sorry.
Acuff 18, Holdren 23, Deal 17, Johnson 21, and Cable 13. 14, I'm sorry.
Okay, so everybody received a minimum of 13 votes, which is what we have to have for a majority. But the top four vote getters are Acuff, Holdren, Deal, and Johnson. Agreed, ladies?
Yes.
So those are the four people that will be on Financial Management Committee. Move on to issues instead of persons. Tonight is a difficult night. I think it's the hardest night that we have each year. Budget might be harder in some people's minds, but the reason that this one for me is the hardest is because we have to choose between each other, and that's never easy, because we're one body. We're gonna work in unity with one another, even when we disagree. We need to walk out of here friendly. You don't have to be friends, but be friendly. And let's work together on things. And then as we vote on these issues now, it will get easier from here on. So, Attorney Harden, will you please go over Resolution A?
Resolution A is officially designating the month of September 2022 as Suicide Prevention Awareness Month in Carter County.
Does anyone want to hear the entire resolution read by our attorney? And you refer to your own paper in your packet.
Madam Chair, I think this is a very important issue, particularly among our youth. I would like it read and do it, please.
And Dr. Acuff, is that?
Whereas suicide is one of the most disruptive and tragic events a family and a community can experience, with more than 1,220 lives lost in Tennessee each year and an estimated 25 attempted suicides for each suicide death. Whereas suicide is the 9th leading cause of all deaths in Tennessee, the 2nd leading cause of death for middle and high school age youth 12 to 18, the 3rd leading cause of death for college age youth ages 18 to 22, and overall the 3rd leading cause of death for our youth ages 10 to 24. Whereas the rate of suicide in Tennessee is 29% higher than the national rate of 13.9%, And whereas more than 3 lives a day are lost to suicide in Tennessee, which means we lose 22 Tennesseans each week and 97 people per month. Whereas Tennessee veterans, active duty military, and National Guardsmen face a disproportionate risk as compared to the general population, with more dying from suicide than combat. Whereas public awareness of this tragic problem is the key to preventing further suffering and loss of life, and the risk for human self-destruction can be reduced through awareness, education, and treatment. The highest risk for suicide is among the survivors of those who died by suicide or those who have attempted suicide. Whereas suicide prevention has been declared a statewide priority by the governor and the Tennessee General Assembly, the legislature, in partnership with Tennessee Suicide Prevention Network, implements the Tennessee Strategy for Suicide Prevention based on the National Strategy for Suicide Prevention. Whereas September is Suicide Prevention Awareness Month, a time to raise awareness of this stigmatized and often taboo topic. We use this month to shift public perception, spread hope, and share vital information to people affected by suicide. And whereas after years of advocacy and preparation, 988 is now available nationwide as the new number to contact for mental health, substance use, and suicide crises, a simple, easy to remember way for people to get help. This new number will allow people to quickly connect with support during a crisis 24/7, no matter where they live. Whereas suicidal thoughts, much like mental health conditions, can affect regardless of age or background. In fact, suicide is often the result of an untreated mental health condition. Suicidal thoughts, although common, should not be considered normal and often indicate more serious issues. Whereas suicide is the second leading cause of death among people aged 10 to 34, and the 10th leading cause of death overall in the United States, and the overall suicide rate in the United States has increased by 35% since 1999. Whereas while suicide prevention is important to address year-round, Suicide Prevention Awareness Month provides a dedicated time to come together with collective passion and strength to address this difficult topic. The truth is, we can all benefit from honest conversations about mental health conditions and suicide, because just one conversation can change a life. Whereas every member of our community should understand that throughout life's struggles, we all need the casual reminder that we're all silently fighting our own battles. And whereas we encourage all Tennesseans to take the time to inquire as to the well-being of their family, friends, and to genuinely convey their appreciation for their existence by any gesture they deem appropriate. A simple phone call, message, handshake, or hug can go a long way towards helping someone realize that suicide is not the answer. Whereas Carter County Mayor Patty Woodby and the Board of County Commissioners for Carter County recognize the importance of suicide prevention awareness and the potential impact that suicide can have on the citizens of Carter County. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of County Commissioners for Carter County, Tennessee, meeting in regular session on this the 19th day of September, 2022, lawful quorum of said board being present and majority voting in the affirmative, that the board, being joined by Carter County Mayor Patty Woodby, hereby adopts this resolution officially designating the month of September 2022 as Suicide Prevention Awareness Month in Carter County. And the board, along with the mayor, urges all citizens to work to prevent suicide and to raise awareness and a spirit of tolerance around all people affected by this tragedy.
Make the motion to accept.
Resolution made by Brown, seconded by Frazier. Any discussion? Ladies, when you're ready, let us know. All right, looks like she is. Please show us the vote. And it is passed unanimously. Thank you very much, everybody. Would it be safe to assume, Dr. Acuff, that you would like to hear Resolution B also?
Yes.
Do you want to read it, or do you want me to turn it to you?
I'll let the attorney read it because I can't get on the internet here.
I'll be happy to read.
Okay.
Resolution B is a resolution officially designating the month of September 2022 as Overdose Awareness Recognition and National Recovery Month in Carter County. Whereas mental health and substance use disorders affect all communities nationwide, but with commitment support, those impacted can embark on a journey of improved health and overall wellness. Whereas Carter County does affirm and acknowledge the harm and hardship caused by drug overdoses. Whereas we recognize the purpose of International Overdose Awareness Day as remembering loved ones lost to overdose and ending the stigma of drug-related deaths. Whereas we resolve to play our part in reducing the toll of overdose in our community, which claimed the lives of 3,032 Tennesseans in 2020, together with the lives of countless more people affected forever. Whereas we affirm that the people affected by overdose are our sons and daughters, our mothers and fathers, our brothers and sisters, and deserving of our love, compassion, and support. Whereas the focus of National Recovery Month this September is to celebrate all people that make the journey of recovery possible by embracing the theme, recovery is for everyone, every person, every family, every community. Whereas the impact of mental health and substance use disorders is apparent in our local community, and an estimated 1 in 4 residents in the Northeast Tennessee region are affected by these conditions. Whereas through Recovery Month, people become more aware and able to recognize the signs of mental health and substance use disorders. People in need of recovery services are encouraged to seek help. Whereas managing the effects of these conditions helps individuals achieve healthy lifestyles, both physically and emotionally, and create an overall healthier community. Whereas Recovery Month observance continues to work to improve the lives of those affected by mental health and substance use disorders by raising awareness and educating communities about the effective services that are available. Whereas Carter County Mayor Patty Woodby and the Board of County Commissioners for Carter County recognize the importance of overdose awareness and National Recovery Month. Now therefore, be it resolved by the Board of County Commissioners for Carter County, Tennessee, meeting in regular session on this, the 19th day of September, 2022, the lawful quorum of said board being present, a majority voting in the affirmative, that the board, being joined by Carter County Mayor Patty Woodby, hereby adopts this resolution officially designating the month of September 2022 as Overdose Awareness and National Recovery Month in Carter County. The board, along with the mayor, urges all citizens to support organizations and programs that promote recovery and decrease instances of overdose in Carter County, Tennessee.
Madam Chair, make a motion to accept the resolution.
Okay, just a second, please. Dr. Acuff, I actually saw Angie Odom say that she wanted to make that motion, so I'll accept yours as a second.
Okay.
So motion by Odom, second by Acuff. Any discussion? Yes, sir.
Just a comment. I think this is a very important topic for Carter County, but also for our region. We will now have a drug treatment facility in Roan Mountain. Many of our fellow citizens in this county have fallen under the mystifying drug overdose that's impacting us. I don't have the figures, but it's a very important topic. Remember, throughout the state of Tennessee, we probably rank in the top 3 counties with this problem. I don't know if the sheriff is still here or not, but he can certainly comment. We have a drug court that's very active. And I like to say, if we have one success, that means a lot to this county. So, thanks, ma'am.
Ms. Odom.
Thank you. I just wanted to point out why this was important to me. And most of you know, but my little girl that I adopted is 9, and her birth mother overdosed on drugs, and she is the only child living in the United States that we've been made aware of to survive an 8-week in the womb drug overdose born to a mother in vegetative state. That later, she died 7 years later after we took care of her in a nursing home. So I had to live out every day seeing what overdose does. She never walked, talked, or did anything again. So it's very important, and I want you all to know that is a young lady that lived here in Carter County, that attended our Carter County schools, that at 33-year-old died. And she's just one of many, many other people of this county that not only has drug issues, but also the children that need our help to remember what they're living through daily. But I was excited. I didn't mean to jump the gun, but I really wanted to of all things, to make the motion on this because of our family circumstance.
Very personal, and we understand. Thank you. Anybody else want to say anything? Okay, let's vote on Resolution B.
Cable.
Thank you. Passes unanimously. On to Resolution C.
Okay, Resolution C is approving an interlocal cooperation and mutual aid agreement for the creation and management of the Tennessee District 1 Task Force. Essentially, this is multiple counties and agencies agreeing to join in the event of a catastrophic emergency and render mutual aid across county, city lines. And I believe Mr. Harold wants to can say a little bit more about it.
Thank you, Mr. Harden. It's a great honor to be asked to join this incident management team is what this is called. Sullivan County is putting together an incident management team, and they asked our office a couple months ago if we would be part of this specialized training team. And myself and Kevin, my deputy, we've both been through the specialized training. We've been through the communications part. It's called COML, Communications Leader. And this is part of this incident management team. And they've asked us to be part of this team. And this means if we are on this team, that we can request them also for Carter County if we have a bad disaster over here. And this is actually a request through the District 1, and that is Carter, Unicoi, Johnson, Sullivan, Washington, Greene County, Hancock, and Hawkins County. All of these counties are District 1, and they have asked us to be part of this specialized team just because we have had the training. So they've asked us, and I think it'd be a great honor and for us to represent Carter County. Thank you, Mr. Horn.
Billy, how's that stack up with FEMA? How's that, where is it placed in the ranking with FEMA?
Yeah, this would be state. It's not federal. This would be state response to a county such as, for instance, before we actually formalized the District 1 task force that this is called, the IMT, we went and volunteered to search for the girl missing in Hawkins County, that Beach Creek area. We all worked in their on-scene emergency operations center. This team can work in any county as emergency operations center, the EOC, because they have each had the specialized training. Some may be in planning, some may be operations. We are communications, so that's our specialized training. But everybody has had a bunch of specialized training in this, so they can be turned loose in a different county's EOC and not have to worry about them because they've all had the specialized training. In case the EMA director or myself, whatever county that is, in case we have to be out in the field, these people will be in the EOC.
Now, this is a long resolution, so I'm assuming that we're not going to have Attorney Harding read this one. But does anybody have any comments or questions?
I'd just like to make a comment. Before I retired, I was part of an incident management team with the Forest Service. They're a great team. They know what they're doing. They've been trained. This is important for Carter County to have a mutual aid agreement with other counties to make it work. We work a lot with FEMA and with the states and with counties. So it's important, and I think we should support this.
Sorry, I was been trying to formulate this question, Billy, so I couldn't ask you before you escaped. What does this put us in position for as far as resources go, like fire departments, EMS, sheriff's deputies, that sort of thing? Or is it just EMA?
No. This is, we have people from the Sheriff's Department that's part of this team. They may be the logistics officer, or they could be the liaison officer. We don't necessarily, it's not necessarily an EMA function. We utilize people from the fire department, police department, whatever your specialty is. If they've had the training, they can be part of this team. It's not necessarily an EMA, but they're trained to work in an EMA EOC. That's what I'm trying to get through. They are trained to work in an EOC, but it could be a firefighter, that's the incident commander, or a firefighter, that's the logistics officer.
Anything else from anyone? Okay, and I apologize. This resolution is actually the shortest. I was talking about all the following pages. I apologize. So, does anybody want it read into the minutes? Okay, let's vote on Resolution C. I apologize. So we'll erase those. Can you do that?
Need a motion?
Any motion?
I move that we accept the resolution.
All right, I'm gonna take Nick Holder for a second on that. I saw his hand first. So we've got a motion by Acuff and a second by Nick Holder. I apologize again.
Do we want to revote?
Does anybody feel like we need to revote since I got that all out of order?
I just amend the record. It's unanimous.
Okay. All right, just amend my error. Motion. And have a second by Holder. Nick Holder. Okay. Mayor Whitby, come up and save me. Keep me from making a mistake for the next couple of minutes.
I won't take long. First of all, congratulations on your elections and congratulations on your appointment to your committees. We do keep them busy and it's an exciting time. We've been busy the past couple of years and we hope to continue that enthusiasm in Carter County. We've got a lot of great projects going on, so we're excited about several of those projects. First thing I need to do is I need to get a motion and a second to appoint the sheriff to the 911 board.
Make a motion.
Second. Okay, I'm gonna call, motion by Frazier, second by Brown, and she may not have been the second, but I heard her. I apologize if she's not. So motion by Frazier, second by Brown.
It's motion to,
What the nine-
sheriff to 911 board. Motion and second. Who made the motion?
Aaron Frazier in the back row, Nancy Brown on the front. So we're voting to put our Sheriff Mark Fraley on the 911 board.
Tomorrow.
Show it.
Got a woman by him now, so.
All right. Unanimously passes. Ms. Woodby?
Sheriff, and just the next thing I kind of want to talk to this commission about before we get started with our committees and some of the projects that we are working on in the county. We are working on a lot of infrastructure projects, which includes a lot of water and different areas of our county that are in dire need, broadband, water. But one of the most important things that I've come across as basic infrastructure in the county that we've got to address, there's no doubt about it, is the salaries for the corrections and law enforcement side of the house. I am asking this budget committee, as your first task, is to start looking at how to improve these salaries. Start doing we need some workshops and we need to really start. I really just want to give you some numbers. Unicoi County, which is not even a quarter of the size of Carter County. They're right now at $12 an hour. Next month, they're moving them to $18 an hour corrections. That's a huge jump for Unicoi County. Population 23,000. Carter County right now at your corrections officer starting pay, $13.47. That's right at $28,000 a year. Imagine raising a family of 4 on that in inflationary times. Sullivan County, starting hourly wage for corrections, $17.64 to $22 an hour. Washington County, starting pay, $17.81. We don't even have, our pay's not even enough to keep these guys from crossing over the county lines. We are not competitive at all. Loyalty just isn't getting it for us anymore. These guys cannot continue to work on this type of salary. And I'm asking this budget committee and this commission to fight for these guys. And whatever I need to do to fight for them also. There's several of them here sitting in the audience. This is a new administration going in, and he's doing everything that he can to get it staffed. We are on the verge of being decertified in our jail. We don't have enough staffing in that jail. We have to change the way Carter County is doing. We talk about quality life. We talk about these individuals going home to their families and trying to maintain a family on this salary is absolutely absurd. They can no longer do this here. Counties are passing us up. Unicoi County alone are going to $18 an hour next month. And their population is 23,000. Ours is 57,000. We have to do better. And I'm asking this commission and the budget committee to be your first task. I want to see workshops set up after the budget meets. I want to see research done. I want to see comparisons done. We've got a great finance department that's ready to jump in for the new budget process that we're beginning to start here in December and January. But it's sad. I'm in the community a lot. I speak to the law enforcement a lot. They cannot live off this money. We've got to do better. We talk about infrastructure, and to me, this is in comparison of clean drinking water. This is our basic infrastructure. When you call 911, or you have inmates in this jail, you want to make sure they stay there. If they get out in the community, what would we do? We've got to be able to keep our guys safe. They can't work 2 to a shift and expect to maintain 220 inmates. That's my statement for the beginning of this new commission. We've done a lot of good stuff in these past 2 and 3 years, a lot of good stuff in the pipeline. A lot of stuff's happening for us, broadband, infrastructure. We're getting a $40 million facility. We're getting another treatment facility in Roan Mountain, which is going to equal out to about another $30 million facility. None of these 2 facilities are funded by the taxpayers. These facilities will run off non-taxpayer money, and I'm asking this commission to look at the taxpayer money for basic infrastructure for the Carter County Corrections and the law enforcement side of the house. Sheriff?
Mayor, I promise I'll be brief. Congratulations to each of you. I really do look forward to working with you. I want to be transparent. I want to answer anything that you have for me. I want you to reach out to me and come over and visit the jail. I just wanted to briefly bring you up to speed on where we're at right now in the status of the jail. On July 13th, we were inspected by the Tennessee Corrections Institute, and there were 9 deficiencies found. 5 were maintenance issues, 4 were issues dealing with staffing. They said that they would come back on September 9th, 9 days into my administration, and reevaluate it. In 9 days, I wasn't able to change the world. But Captain Patterson worked his tail off to get those deficiencies down to 2. The most glaring deficiency right now is being severely understaffed. Now, there was an issue with the numbers in July. In this report in July, we had 32 corrections officers. That was not true. We got down to 11 corrections officers trying to work that place around the clock. They have done everything in their power. When they came back on September 9th, we were able to get the numbers up to about 24, which showed a loss of 2. They had no choice but to recommend decertification. Last week, the chief deputy and Captain Patterson went down to Murfreesboro for week 2 of the new sheriff's school. We went to class all day long, and after class, we were meeting with TCI and CTAS, and they were going to work with us every way possible. I've got to get staffing back, period. And I'm not asking you for anything tonight. I'm just asking for you to consider down the road that we look at issues regarding pay for my officers, my department. Because I'm not going to wait till the end of the term and make it a re-election. I'm going to fight for my officers, and I'll be upfront with you about that. That's all I ask, is just to consider that. And thank you all so much for your time. Yes.
What's the number of corrections officers that you should have?
55.
55? You said your current staffing is at what, 24?
26, I think.
26.
And also want to note, we have 10 interviews set up for this week. starting tomorrow. So hopefully I can get in the right path and get those numbers back to where the current staff can get a little bit of break, because they're working pretty much 7 days a week right now, 12-hour shifts.
This is going to be a question that you probably can't answer. Based on the current staffing levels, where do you think that you will be at in 6 months?
I don't expect to be at 100%, but I would like to have a significant growth. And I would strive for at least 75 to 80% staffing in 6 months. Again, nothing that I did got us back to where we were at. A simple change in leadership, Captain Patterson's work, I mean, tirelessly, a lot of people are wanting to come back in and revisit. It's not entirely about the pay, but we've got to address that situation because it's been kicked down the road for so many years. I'm gonna fight for my officers.
That's for sure. What's our count now on the patrol division? Consider it's all one department.
We are significantly low on the patrol number also. I'm short. I have 5 total SROs. I have depleted the power shift to put them on patrol. I'm 54 total positions short, and forgive me for not being able to do math right now in my head. It's been a long day. But I'm extremely short on patrol also, and I've got a lieutenant who's going to be called up. He's leaving October 1st for a year on a military deployment. I've got to pull from it even further. I'm depleted. I'm trying to fill the schools. I'm reaching out to retired officers to come back. The school system's working with me the best they can, and I'm trying to carve out at least 3 or 4 more SROs by the end of this week. I'm doing everything I can to get back to staff, Mr. Johnson. Yes, sir.
Quick break between, just as a spitball number, $20 an hour versus the $13.47 at 55 individuals leaves you at a deficit of about $747,000.
That's close. I have brand new cars sitting in Knoxville. I don't have officers to drive. We were supposed to have an issue tonight about the radios in, and I said, no big deal. I've got a parking lot full of cars that I can't get officers in.
How many SROs are you short currently?
I have 5, so I'm 9 short SROs.
9 short. What's the average?
Average, I'm going to say around $32,000 to $34,000.
Okay. What do you see as your career path through the jail? Do you see people starting as SROs? Do you see them starting at the jail? Do you see them starting on patrol? Do you have a navigable idea about where you want people to funnel in, and then
historically
from there?
Officers have come through the jail, worked their way out to the academy, and then on patrol. However, I'm not gonna lie, I'm looking at the police academies right now. These cadets that are students are putting themselves through, I'll hire them right now. I spoke to the academies last week. I said, if you've got any people that are going to be graduating, I would like first dibs at them. So right now, I've just got to think outside the box, and I've got to get people on board here.
And how many street deputies are you short? I missed whenever Mr. Johnson asked.
Well, like I said, it's been a long day. I'm short 9 school resource officers, and I want to say I'm around 10 to 12 patrol officers short.
And what's the average on the patrol?
Patrol salaries, I'm going to say it's along the same lines as the school resource officers, around between $30,000 and $32,000 a year.
30 and 32?
Yes, give or take a little bit. Yes, sir.
Sheriff Riley, I'm referring to the constables. At one time, they were going to work as SROs. What's the standing on?
They can't do that. They have provided security outside the schools, and they have been an asset. The only time they go in there is to use the restroom, and they go back out to their cars. But we can't rely on that. We've got to have officers in the schools, because I dare say every one of you have families that have a child or a family member in a school. I've served as a supervisor for the SROs for 10 years. my biggest nightmare is something happening in one of those schools.
Sheriff Fraley, how many officers do we have here on a daily basis at the courthouse, at this courthouse?
At this courthouse, I'm gonna say on average, maybe 3. They're part-time. Well, let me back up. There's 1 full-time, 2 part-time, I think.
Could any of those individuals, have they been through the training for SRO?
No, they have not.
Also, outside of what you're telling us about the lack of help, I know that you faced some probably huge issues building wise though. Outside of staff, what is some other huge obstacles right now that is causing your staff or yourself some issues as far as inmates within?
Right now, I've been doing walkthroughs in the jail, and the inmates have very few demands right now. More rec time, and with staffing, they understand with more staffing, they'll get more rec time. But actually, I had some females ask for a conditioner for their hair, and I thought, I'm not a hair person, but through that jail, they were moving through issues. And that was very understandable. We got the conditioner fixed, they're happy. And the other inmates, all they asked for is a little bit more rec time. And I was impressed with that. I thought I'd get bombarded, but I wouldn't want to be locked in my cell for 23 hours a day either. And I need to get more staffing so I can get more programs and hopefully it's on the right track.
I'd just like to share, piggyback on what you're saying, the last 10 years with me coming from Northeast Correctional, seeing the problems that we have up there and having the shortage. And one of the things you have to look at is a happy inmate is a good day. And what you said about no rec time, things getting taken away, shortage of staff, it's not just putting the officer in danger, it's putting also the people that you supervise in there. And I would like to encourage everyone here that has not been in a facility, an incarcerated facility like the Carter County Sheriff's Department and the jail, to go by and walk through, because the stress level when you have an individual, and I worked with them that worked 12 hours a day for many days, 20 days. And one of the things that the Department of Corrections did was their salaries now, if you're 18 years old, they're going to start you out at $44,500 with a $5,000 sign-up bonus. And that's through the state of Tennessee. I know money is not everything, but that's going to pave the way. Pave the way.
I didn't stay up here this long. You all raised your hands.
This as the #1 issue right now in Carter County. It has traveled to the middle of the state about our jail being possibly decertified. And to me, that's a little bit embarrassing because they're calling me saying, why are you all not paying your people better? The comptroller has reached out to me wanting to know why the salaries are this low here. I don't have an answer other than that's just been the historic here. There's never really been much movement on taking care of our guys. And now it's kind of snowballed and we're in a position to where we have to. It's the moral right thing to do for our corrections and sheriff's department. No more than we can entice our community with the beautiful amenities that we have, the streams, the lakes, the rivers, the schools. What's a community when you don't have your law enforcement in place? What's a community when you call 911 and the call times are long? That's what people look at when they want to move to Carter County. Are my schools protected? Are my kids protected? And right now, that's in a dire situation. So I wanted to make the older commissioners and of course the newly commissioners aware of that. Thank you all very much.
Chairman, did you, I was going to say Chairman recognizes Jerry Prophet. Did you want to say something?
I was going to ask Mike a question, but
Okay.
Go ahead, I'm still here.
the mayor ran off, so here I am. Sheriff Harrison, in reference to the federal, not a grant, but how would you describe, they're decertifying the county because of lack of officers. Not officers, but correctional officers. Is that a permanent declassification, or in the event that you were to obtain more employees or more jailers, would you be able to get the federal certification
I
back?
think the question you're asking is if we are certified in December, can we get recertified?
The federal, yes.
Yes, we can. However, if we get decertified, we open ourselves up for a lawsuit. So if an inmate files a lawsuit, we lose our liability coverage. The state will automatically start pulling state inmates out the day after. There will be buses here to get the state inmates. And potentially, our inmates will be moved to other jails, and we have to start footing the bill for that. If you want to start talking big numbers, it's going to run into millions of dollars. We've got to get this thing fixed. So I don't want to take that chance on getting decertified December 7th when they come back. I want to keep that certification. I'm doing everything in my power to make sure that we get that certification. I have to appear in Nashville December 7th in front of the board. And I've got to show some improvement on staffing numbers, or they will decertify us. And they don't want to do that. That's not what they're in the business for. But we've got to get these deficiencies fixed. Anything else? Again, you raise your hands, I would have been done a lot quicker. Thank you so much.
Mr. Frazier.
Just pointing out that based on the numbers that he provided, where the difference is about 8 cents, 8.5 cents on the property tax rate. So that's to the folks that are on budget committee, that's what you're looking at coming up in October.
Okay. It's time for our attorney's report.
Okay, so generally each month I'm on there to give a report. What I usually do for the new folks is I actually submit a written report each month that you'll get in your minutes. So I don't usually go into a heck of a lot of detail. Of course, I'll answer any questions anybody has at any time. Usually I don't speak in specifics about litigation at all. But of course, I'll speak with you all individually about that or any case you're concerned about or any legal concerns whatsoever at any time. So my office is open Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 5. If you don't have my cell phone number and you want it, I'll give it to you. Happy to answer any question any of y'all have. Anytime you have it, just call and ask. Other than that, this month you'll see the report that details kind of the things I work on, or have worked on since the last commission meeting. It's just a rolling update every month. So absent any questions, that's my report.
Okay, and I would like to thank you publicly for the handbooks that you put into our mailboxes downstairs. They're very helpful. So from all of us to you, thank you, Howard, for doing that. I want to make just a couple of comments, and then commissioners, I'll open the floor to the rest of you. Schedule a meeting for October the 13th, so it will have to be publicized, open to everyone, of course. But the main reason I'm asking for this meeting is to go over things with committee chairs and vice chairs. Specifically those people, I want you to really, really try to be here that night. We'll come to this building and into this room if it's open and available, October the 13th. A special meeting called by me for chairs and vice chairs to talk about your committee work and what's expected. I want to address the fact that there are a couple of things that got turned in today to Gwen's office, and I asked her not to send them out or to put them on your desk, and that's the way I'm going to run it. If an official or a employee, committee chairman, vice chairman, cannot get the materials for your packet out by the Wednesday of the week before our meeting, they're not not gonna be talked about at that meeting. It would have to be an emergency. I mean, this goes for everybody. That's the rule. If it's not in the packet before she sends it out on Monday, it's not going in. So if your group is one of the ones that didn't get presented in our packet and it wasn't on your table tonight, that's why. Blame me, because I'm the one that said don't send them. And that's the way it's gonna be. So nobody should put anything on your desk ever, right before a meeting or during a meeting. When you start going to your committee meetings, be sure to sign the roll. So that's how we know you were there, and that's how you get paid. So be sure to sign that. Yes, Jason?
I want to make sure, like the lady that stood up there earlier and talked about making sure the agenda's on the website prior to the meeting.
Right.
You said it went on there the last 2 months.
Right. We'll need to get that worked out because, Abby Fry was taking care of that for us. And so we've got a new executive assistant and we'll just have to work that out between Mayor Whitby, the clerk's office and myself. We'll try to get that figured out because it's very.
If I was in her shoes, if I come in and mention it and then next month it happens again, that don't look good.
Right. Yeah. This is the second time or third that she's brought it up to us. So we do need to address that. Thank you, Commissioner Reisner. We do. Okay, now, floor is open to you guys. Anything you want to say? Yes, Ms. Collins.
I'd like to say, if you're going to be absent, call one of your other people in your district to represent and be at that meeting. I know accidents happen. I've had to miss, and we've always been able to work things out, but I know we've had other meetings where 2 or 3 districts didn't show up, and then you're not gonna be able to have a meeting. Even if it's a, last minute thing, I think everybody understands that, and one of the other 2 could try to make the meeting. Please, don't leave your district open unless it's, you just can't get a hold of the other 2 people. That's it, that's all I've got.
Madam Chair, I'd like to return to the subject that we have first the agenda. Excuse me, on Broadway and Fireways internet service. I indicated that our matching portion on this part of the grant would be 1.6 million. Remember, we set aside 3.2 million, and I would like to make the motion that we reserve that 1.524,371.73 as a part of continuing broadband. And then I've had a discussion with Commissioner Johnson about where that might look like it should go next. And I would suggest that would go in the first district, since that's going to be an education hub. We're going to have hopefully ETSU Family Medicine there. They've already agreed to partner with us in telehealth. They'll need high-speed internet. We've got EMS, and we've also got 3 schools in the first district. So I would like to make the motion that we reserve the remainder of that 3.2 million. That figure is $1,524,371.73 to be applied to broadband.
I'll second the motion. I'm sure.
The amount is $1,523,000.
$524,371.73
For broadband.
for broadband. We'd already set aside 3.2 million. The match for what we're currently partnering with Skyline Skybest is $1,128.20. I'll give you this back.
Who made second?
Mr. Johnson.
I'll second this thing.
It's open for discussion. Does anyone have questions? Yes, Commissioner Frazier.
It's already currently reserved exclusively for broadband. Do we have to set it in reserve a second time? Since it's already there in the reserve? Josh?
To my knowledge, I don't think you would, but I'll defer. They need to reserve the funds that have already been reserved for broadband exclusively, reserve them again, since the match has changed. What is the match has changed?
The match has
It's
changed.
changed. I mean, it was based on the match, so
That's
I
correct.
think it would need to be.
Which we had, what was 3.2 that we had in reserve. That's what we've been working on the ARP funds totally. So we've got 1.6 already being committed out of it.
You're not asking to appropriate it tonight, you're just saying to continue to reserve it. It's
Just-
already,
Yeah,
it's already reserved, I would think. I mean,
Well,
I mean,
the
it's
problem is our match with Skyline Skybest based on Tennessee Economic and Community Development grant is 1.6 million. I just don't want us to lose that 1.5 million somewhere else. I still want it to be focused and address our problem of fiber-based broadband.
yeah, because it was based on the match, because that's what we were anticipating the match was going to be.
I mean, it never hurt to reiterate it, especially since we got half new commission, so by all means, it doesn't hurt to do it again, even if you don't need to.
Yeah, because the total objective of the broadband, if I may talk like that, was two entrances. One was through the Rome Mountain from the North Carolina side, all the way down through Hampton, Butler, Elk Mills. And the second one was from the Shady Valley area down into Stony Creek in District 1 to where we and Skybest is doing everything we can to where we can put broadband in all of those areas. The west end of the county, I'm gonna say, is in great shape because I already have access to that, where your east and your south has zero. And if you go back when we were locked down during the COVID and your schools were closed and they were trying to go viral, just think, your District 1 and your Hampton, Rome Mountain, Cinnamon Creek, Pogie, all them, they had zero. So that really hurt on the education side of the house. So our goals was try to get all of those districts covered under it. That's why we want to protect this one reserve part here, to once they come down the road, if we have to use reserve, to hit right back up again on 91.
Any other questions? Aaron?
Well, in the motion, it's being earmarked specifically for the first district, but were there any other areas in the county that were potential options for it? Or was just the first district the only other potential option? Because I don't want to limit us down the road. If something changes, then it's just earmarked for first district. If it should be more broad and just to hold on to it until it can come back through committee, Skybest and all that fun stuff.
Well, it was originally earmarked for the first because that's how Skyline Skybest outlined it. Where the problem comes in with a competitive grant through ECD, any cable company already servicing Carter County can lodge a complaint or an objection. So that's what has occurred.
Which ones?
I'm not going to say. So
I'll tell.
he can do. But I think I want the Skyline Skybest folks to come in and explain that. But outside the granting mechanism, we can do anything we want. We don't have to have ECD's permission and there will be no objections, I don't think. No formal way to object.
No formal way to object. I'm just saying that, I don't want to stick us in a box that we can't get out of or have to get 16 to vote to get us out of a reserve account box.
Well, and also thinking of our initiative, Mayor and I have already talked about this, it's going to happen at workforce development up and down that section of road. And I don't want to miss our opportunity if ETSU Family Medicine is going to be a part of that corridor, that they don't have access to high speed, so they can do that. So, that's one thing that we sent, Robbie Farmer and Edward Henson sent in with the grant that they submitted for us, Skyline Skybest, to help serve us. That's one thing that went along with when Bill Block, the Dean of Medicine, I've got a letter that they included. He already is wanting to work with us with telehealth in this county.
Let's vote. What's the vote? And motion passes.
Thank you.
Anybody else have a question? All right, and all of you do have your schedule for October. You know where you're supposed to be and when.
See on that, or you'll sit in the.
6:30.
It is, okay, sorry. Let's make that note. October the 3rd, Financial Management Committee will be meeting at 8:30 a.m.
6:30.
6:30. I want to revote. So change that to 8:30. And that is one committee that you can't ask somebody from your district to cover for you if you cannot be there. Because those are elected by the full commission. But other committee work, you know, the standing committees, let's just say that, because there's a few others that we can't substitute. But the standing committees, you definitely need to have someone from your district there to represent your district at each standing committee meeting.
I was gonna say something about all these others.
All the other committees.
Yeah.
Yeah, several of you turned in your requests, which is great, so that we know what you're looking for. But whatever other committees that you may want to serve on, you need to tell the nominating committee. So at this time, your representative on that is Aaron Frazier. Turn into him what other beer board, any animal shelter board, any other committee that was not selected tonight. Turn that in so the nominating committee can make those choices at their first meeting. If that doesn't set it in stone, it has to come back before the full commission. But we put a lot of stock into what a committee researches and the answers that they provide. Most of the work done by this commission will be done in committees. That's where the work exists. And good committees that the motions they're going to bring before us turn out to be the right motions. Whenever we rush to judgment in this room without committee work, that's when we've made our mistakes. Anything else?
Madam Chair, question. We've always, in years previous, been afforded an alpha list of all our commissioners' contact information, such as the phone numbers, or email, address, and all for us commissioners, to where we can communicate with each other. Is that going to be provided this year?
I just don't have all the phone numbers and addresses. I think that Anthony's got most of it on the website already. Sheets.
Yeah, but he has the website for the county use.
Right, he's got with email addresses and stuff.
If you wanted to text,
Phone number.
so you don't get traced by government officials and everybody else. Think about it now. That computer guy, he needs to go back to bed.
What would probably help, the clerk's office, if all of y'all would take a moment to stop by and see her tonight, see what she might need from you, or go on the website and get whatever information is out there for each commissioner, but we do need to be able to contact one another. Yes.
Just for the time being, the only contact information I have listed on the website is my county email. There's some situations that I'm having to deal with, so if you do need to reach me, I will send you back my direct cell phone number if you do need to reach me that way, but currently all that's available on the website is my email.
So Gwen's placing a notepad out here and a pen, so if you have information you want to provide to her, please come by and do that. I spoke with Isaiah Grindstaff by text during our meeting and asked about our key cards that get us into the building, identify us as county commissioners. And he said that we need to set up a time so that if anybody wants a new picture because you don't like your old one. If you are brand new and need a picture is required on your key card. So he and I will work on a day and time to let you all know. Really come prepared, really pretty.
If you're really new and you want somebody ugly, we'll make his picture and put on.
I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn by Aaron Frazier, second by Aka.
It's already on the table and you were looking into it.
Yeah, any questions?